before we get into the video, I want to talk to you guys about the OneFootball app, because for me it's the best football app there is available to you, and it is literally free, which means you get loads of great features at no cost. Whether that's player statistics, team news, transfer news, league tables, all great stuff like that, which I of course use in my videos. On top of that, you also get highlights for the DFB Pokal, Liga Portugal and also La Liga. And on top of that, full coverage of the Indian Super League and the Serie A, which means full highlights for both leagues. And also in the Serie A, once a week you get a game which you can watch live for free. Absolutely zero cost, a live match which costs absolutely nothing. And this week it will be Inter at home to Sampdoria this Saturday, which I'm really looking forward to watching. No one else offers you this stuff, so make sure to download the OneFootball app using the link in the description down below. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the Scouting for Manchester United series. The series where I take a look at loads of players from around the world and look at the reasons why Manchester United maybe should or shouldn't be taking a look at them and whether they should or shouldn't be signing them. And today we are talking about Bruno Guimarães. Now, this isn't a video I was going to do just because he's been doing so well at Newcastle. I'd kind of like to see him stay there. But a lot of you guys asked for it and I understand why. He's a wonderful player. And just to say, this isn't anything like hopping on the hype train. On the channel, we've been talking about this guy for well over a year now. This time last year, I was begging Manchester United to sign him in January, and I was saying if United don't get him, Arsenal have to go in for him, because he is just so good. Currently 24 years old, nearly 25 in just a couple of weeks' time, from Brazil, and I'm sure he will be a part of the World Cup squad, and of course, a midfielder for Newcastle United. And since he's joined Newcastle, the stuff that he has been doing has been absolutely incredible. And in terms of his rank within the Newcastle squad, we can see just how insane the numbers are. He's got the most duels won, the most possessions won, the most tackles, the most fouls won, the joint most shots on target, the most goal involvements, and the joint most goals. This is all coming from a midfielder where, as we'll talk about soon, his best attributes are progressing the ball. When he was at Lyon, he was very much a player that would kind of help control the tempo of a game. Let me put him into the team here real quick. His role for Lyon was very much as a ball progressor. Working the ball, picking the ball up from the centre-backs, from the defenders in his deeper areas, then working the ball forward. I'm sure you all know that is one of my favourite traits in world football, a player that can progress the ball well. Guimarães done that brilliantly at Lyon, and he is still doing it at Newcastle. But what he is also doing at Newcastle is getting further forward as well at times, and he's added goal contributions to his game. Whether it's goals, assists, chance creation, again we can see it in those numbers here. And he's just gone up a gear this year. Manchester United have to be looking at him. So if they were to sign him, what would they get? Well, the first thing they would get is a very intelligent footballer. A footballer whose brain works a step or two ahead of everyone else on the pitch, especially at Newcastle. No disrespect to the Newcastle players, they've got a really good squad there. But Guimarães is just a step ahead, and in terms of players outside of the top 6 in the Premier League, Bruno Guimarães is the best in my opinion. Normally I wouldn't make a statement as bold as that. I'm happy to say this one. For me, Bruno Guimarães is the best player in the Premier League outside the top 6. And the first thing United would be getting is an intelligent player, and that intelligence means that he is happy to receive the ball under pressure. He knows where the opponent is coming from, he's happy to receive the ball, sometimes turn and use a bit of power to push forward, because he isn't necessarily the most agile midfielder. Recently we've been talking about players like Benacer or Kakare, who use that low centre of gravity to turn. That isn't Guimarães' game, it's more about a power and an intelligence on his first touch, which allows him to get out of these situations. And also, on top of that, it's his passing ability, and again that awareness of where his teammates are around him. So he's happy to receive the ball here, pop a pass off, and quick interchanges is his preferred method of getting out from under pressure. Some players like to turn, not Guimarães' style, it's more about getting the ball, popping off to a teammate, moving, getting the ball again, popping off to a teammate, things like that. That is what he would bring to United, and I am confident that he would improve United's ability to get out of their own defensive third, which would allow them to press further up the pitch and push higher. I am just going to quickly interrupt because we do have another sponsor for today's video, and that is jerseyfifa.com. The website you need to head to right away to get yourself the latest and greatest football shirts, all at an extremely affordable price. The link will be in the description below, so head there right away to get yourself a great shirt, again at a great price. Now back to the video. Now once his team has pushed higher, for me Bruno Guimaraes' best position is as sort of a left-sided, deep-lying playmaker. Kind of the area that Frenkie de Jong plays, although Guimaraes does it in a slightly different way. But that is where I really think he's at his best, and just happens to be that is exactly what Manchester United need. If he was to join United, I think this would be his best area, dropping into the left side where Christian Eriksen often plays. Yes, being given the license to push forward and contribute in the final third, but more often than not, sitting in these deeper areas and looking to dictate from here, because once again, his weight of pass, his range of passing is just brilliant. He's a really technically good footballer. Compare it to Fred and McTominay, who can be a bit loose with their first touch, a bit loose with their passing, unforced errors. Bruno Guimarães doesn't have that in his game. And I think the other thing that we haven't seen actually fully in the Premier League yet is his long passing range. Bruno Guimarães is one of the best long passers of a football in world football, in my opinion. And with the way that United are currently playing, that could work really nicely. Especially with him playing on the left side. We know United are always left side heavy. I complain about it quite a lot. But actually it could work with someone like Bruno Guimarães in the team because of his ability to then switch to play with long passes out to Antony. And what I like about it is it isn't just a lofted switch pass. Because when you really loop a long pass, it gives the opposition time to read the pass and shuffle into position. Now, when we look at the stats, it'll say, yes, you completed the pass. But you didn't really help your team as much as you could have because the other team had time to adapt. Guimarães is more of a player that really drives the ball out wide. He really pings the pass to his teammate, which just makes it so much harder for the opposition to deal with. Which would be ideal for Antony, because it then allows Antony to play as a true isolation winger, getting 1v1 against his fullback, taking him on. It's something we need to see more at United. Guimarães could really help that. Of course, as well as helping the team with his long passing, we've also seen that Guimarães is a very good incisive passer. And these numbers are backed up when we look at his FBref report, and we'll start with his basic FBref report here. And the numbers that I'm interested in really are the progressive passes. Playing that ball through the lines, we were talking about it the other day. Getting the ball and just moving it further towards the opposition's goal. It's something reasonably straightforward in football, but it actually takes a lot of skill to do. And there's a lot of players in the Premier League, sorry if I just hit the mic, there's a lot of players in the Premier League that don't really do it. Guimarães is excellent at getting that ball moving forward, and it's what has made him so important to Newcastle. But if we actually take a deeper look at his FBref report and focus on his passing, these are all passing numbers. We don't really need to look at them individually. Look how green that is. There are so many dense green bars, showing that he is just a very good passer. And it's not like he's safe with his passing either. Some players can kind of boost their passing stats a little bit by playing a little bit safe, going side to side. Not Bruno Guimarães. Like I said, he's hitting those long passes. He's hitting those progressive passes through the lines. Just a really good footballer on the ball. And I think something else we're seeing since he's moved to Newcastle, which was something that I wasn't really talking about this time last year, because he didn't do it at Lyon so much, is his ability in the final third. And since moving to Newcastle, we've seen a real craft to his game and an ability to break down a defence. Now, Newcastle don't exactly face low blocks on a regular basis, but in games where teams are set up against them in quite a defensive way, some of Guimarães' passes into the box have been really nice. And actually, his creative level is really impressing me, and if he can keep working on that, he can establish himself as one of the best midfielders in the world. Particularly some of the passes he's been playing to Almiron this season, with little clips over the top here, or sometimes he'll drift to the right hand side and play a pass through the lines. Slip a pass between two defenders to find a striker. It's actually just really impressive what he's doing. On the ball, he is becoming extremely complete. He's got that power, the size, the drive to drive through the pitch when he needs to, but then he's got a real craft on the ball with his passing, and an intelligence. Something that I speak about with Manchester United a lot. Just a lack of intelligent players, a lack of intelligent decisions. Guimarães goes some way to addressing that because he's a very clever footballer. And importantly, on top of all that, he does the defensive work as well. And again, if we go back to that basic FBref report, we can see him ranking well for tackles, blocks, and reasonably well for interceptions. Now, one thing we do have to consider is that those numbers can be a little bit boosted when you play for a team like Newcastle, because Newcastle don't necessarily have 60% possession every game, so there's more opportunity to attempt these defensive actions. But it's still showing that willingness to do it, and also the ability to do it. Fair enough, you get put into loads of defensive situations, but actually how well do you do them? Guimarães just does them very well. He would be more than happy to help Manchester United press high up the pitch. Basically, my conclusion here, what I'm saying, is Bruno Guimarães is just such a complete midfielder. Such a good, complete player. He genuinely has a bit of everything. Whether that's his passing, knitting the play together in his defensive third, whether it's progressing the ball from these areas here to get his team moving forward, whether it's switching the ball out wide to bring others into the game, whether it's taking the opportunity to push forward himself, where he's getting goals and assists for Newcastle, creating chances. He's just wonderfully well-rounded, and like I said, off the ball, he's happy to do that defensive work. He's happy to press, and everything just seems really good about him. The issue is, he hasn't been at Newcastle for very long, and he cost them about 40 million, so I dread to think what it would cost to get this guy, because he is phenomenal. Genuinely phenomenal. There almost isn't a downside. Like, genuinely. There's so few weaknesses about him as a player. He can play so many different roles. And then he's got that mentality as well. He recently, his family had a child, so congratulations to him. But he said he didn't sleep for 2 days, so he could have taken the game off. He had that permission to do that. But no, he wanted to be there playing for Newcastle. I think that shows a real mentality. Someone that just wants to help his team win, no matter what. He hasn't slept for 2 days, and he still produces a top quality performance. It's just impressive stuff. And also, the injury record, very, very decent indeed. Missed a few games this season, and a few games with Lyon the other year, but nothing too bad. One was the coronavirus, so it's not exactly a recurrent injury. The other was a hamstring injury, but the fact that we've only seen it once doesn't matter too much. It can happen to anyone. So, no recurring injuries, an excellent attitude, an excellent ability on the ball, a really well-rounded footballer all round. Tactically, a good fit. My rating's got to be an A for this guy. He is just so good at football. Can Manchester United get him is the problem, because if I was Real Madrid, well, apart from the fact that they have 100 world-class midfielders, but if I was a team like that, I would be looking at getting this guy. Everyone in the world should be chasing him. I was saying it this time last year, that he improves every team in the Premier League, probably apart from Manchester City. I still think that's the case, and I think he's improved, he's gone up a gear. Wonderful footballer. Really wonderful footballer. One of the best in the league. Of course, Manchester United should sign him. I don't need to talk too in detail about this, because I think you guys know. I think everyone's seen him. We've seen what he's so good at. Pretty much everything. I could talk about this guy all day long, because I love him, but I'm not going to, because I actually have to leave in a second. So this is a slightly shorter video, but in conclusion, Manchester United should be after this guy. The problem is going to be the price, realistically, because he is going to cost a lot of money. But I think it would be worth it for Manchester United and any team. Very, very good footballer, a wonderful player. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you been impressed watching him? You've got to consider that this is also his first year in England. He's only been in the Premier League less than 12 months and he's doing this. All things to take into consideration. Has he been impressing you? Are there any weaknesses in his game that you've noticed that I haven't really covered in this video? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.